Good evening, everybody. It's July 15th, 2020. This is the Town of Ossining Planning Board. Let's go around the screen and introduce ourselves. Sandy?
Sandy Anelli, Secretary.
Donna?
Anna Sharp, Planning Board member.
Gareth?
Gareth Huffam, Planning Board member.
Dan?
Dan Ciarcia, Consulting Engineer of the Planning Board.
Valerie?
Valerie Menasher, Consulting Planner to the Planning Board.
Jim?
Jim Basinas, Planning Board member.
Christy?
Christy Adana, attorney, filling in for Kathy Zalantis, Planning Board attorney.
Okay, and I'm Ching Chin, Chair. Thanks, everyone. The first item on the agenda is 125 Morningside Drive, new single-family residence, architectural review, continuing the public hearing. The applicant here?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Great. Do you have anything to add at this point?
Yes, according with the last meeting we have with the board, good evening, by the way. Some suggestion from the board was made for the left side elevation, and one in the planting is into the close to the septic field. We make some options for the side elevation for the windows close to the, where is located the garage doors. And we have these two options. Let me see, I can share my screen with you. Share the screen. Okay. You see it? This is the option A we create for the elevation. If you see here, we make like some windows pretty much in this size of the elevation. And this is the option B. We create this one. It's pretty much center with the garage doors. Also, we added in the floor plans. This one is like an option A. We create this windows in the center of the walk-in closet, and we mirror, to in the master bedroom. And option B is this is the window center with the garage doors option. Also, for the landscaping plan, we select a new species for the area in the septic field. This one is the species we come out. And is a new species. Is better from the, we make a little research. It's better is an evergreen. It's supposed to will be green the entire year. And also is better for that one. Is 10 feet tall. Is not too invasive into the septic field. I mean, we don't have a problem with the water there. Because if you see there, we're still in the edge of the property. I mean, we're still away from the branches of the field. That was the previous comment from the board. We need an address for this meeting.
Okay. Does the staff have anything more to add at this point? Dan, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Christy, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, Valerie?
No, I do not.
Okay, to board members, how do folks feel about this? Donna?
So I really like option B. I think that looks great. If that was acceptable to everybody else, I just think it looks it's very attractive seeing it centered over the garage doors like that. And, and since that's what you're going to be seeing from the shared driveway, I think it's great. So that's what I would vote for. And then with the landscaping plan, you did a great job picking plants. My concern, so it's a concern, but I wonder if there's a way that it can be worked out in like the resolution, my concern. These plants are typically shade plants, shade tolerant plants. And if it's near that open septic field, I imagine it's a lot of sun. So if the plants get enough water, they might do really well, and they would be beautiful if they did well. But I'm wondering if there's a way in the resolution that if the plants didn't survive, that they would be able to pick something else. That, you know, because they might, if they didn't survive because of the conditions, it would be really, I think, a shame to require the applicant to replace them with the same thing that didn't do well.
We do have as a condition as a general condition that all landscaping on the approved plans shall be installed in a healthy and vigorous state and shall be inspected at the beginning and end of the growing season within the first and second year of installation. Individual species that do not survive beyond the first and second year shall be replaced at the beginning of the next growing season. And so it leaves it a little bit with some flexibility as to what it can be replaced with.
So I'm wondering if that would, because that doesn't sound like, I understand that you're saying that, but I'm wondering if the building department would understand that they would be able to put a different plant in there.
We can add a little bit, you know, some more language to that, saying a replacement of another native species.
Right, or something that's on that list, like, you know, that big list of plants they could choose if they don't survive because it wasn't suited to the cultural conditions there or something. I don't know how to word.
Donna, is your intention to make it so that the owner has more options in order to replace the plant? Is that what you want to do?
If it doesn't survive, because I'm a little concerned that they're all shade plants, and if that's that big open septic field, I don't know the property, so I don't know, but I would imagine there's a lot of sun there. Since it's so open, and if there's a lot of sun, there is a chance that they might not survive. So I would, they could survive and do beautifully, you know, if they get enough water and they're happy, and you know. But I just
Okay, so basically the resolution
we're
does,
tying them to it, you know, like to this, to keep replanting the same plant that's not doing well.
so the resolution should reflect the fact that the owner has some flexibility in terms of choosing a plant to replace anything that's gone.
Right.
Okay, all right, Valerie, is that acceptable?
Yes, we can add a condition in there.
Great.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you can just revise the existing language.
Right.
Just with another native species suitable for site conditions or something like that.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds great. So that's it for me for that.
Okay, Gareth, do you have any comments, questions?
Could you show A and B again, to, you know, one after the other?
Okay, this is option A.
Okay, so option A, the windows are a little farther out toward the edges.
Yes.
Okay.
And option B is centered with the garage doors.
Yeah, I agree with Donna. B looks better to me. But both of them are much better than without that fourth window. So thank you for doing that. And that's my only comment. I'll go with B.
Okay, thanks. Jim, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
Just going to say thank you to the applicant for making the adjustments.
You're welcome, anytime.
Well, not anytime, but okay. Yeah, it really does look a lot better than the original plans. I just have one question about the door going into the closet. Does it have to be in that corner so close to the window?
I think it's because for the manufacturer, but I think they can move it a little bit to the right side. I don't think it's a problem.
You may want to leave it there just because it'll probably give you a little bit more of an option, you know, storage option.
Storage area, you know, if you move it more to the right, you know, you reduce this, you know, the walk-in closet. No. For the shelter.
Okay. I was just wondering whether that was forced upon because of the modular setup, or whether it was a decision on the part of the design.
Yeah.
But I also agree that the option B looks a lot better, having it centered over the garage doors.
Okay.
So are there any other comments or questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay. Sandy, hearing none. Sandy, are there any members of the public interested in this matter?
No, I don't think anyone is in attendance tonight
Okay.
for this
Thank you.
hearing.
Okay. So, Chrissy, Valerie, what is the next step on this?
So I think if the board is so inclined, if you're comfortable with the discussion, I think the consensus, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but it seems to be that the board wants the applicant to go with option B as far as the window plan. So we could just note that as an additional edit, Valerie, on the resolution that was previously prepared. And then if the board is inclined, you can close the public hearing and vote on the resolution with the amendments with respect to the window option and the landscaping that were discussed.
Okay. Applicant, do you have any other comments at this time or questions at this time?
No, sir. I think everything is clear.
Great. Okay. Could I have a motion to that effect, what Chrissy just mentioned?
Well, I would just recommend do a motion to close the public hearing first.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll
Who
second.
second? Garrett seconded?
Yep.
Who seconded? Okay.
I think both Donna and I seconded it.
I turn it over to you, Gareth.
Okay. Okay. So we'll close anybody objections? Jim, no objections to closing the public hearing then?
No.
Donna?
No objections.
Gareth?
No objection.
Great. I have no objections either. So can I also have a motion to the resolution that Christy just described?
Can I make a comment first?
Sure.
So I was wondering if in the resolution, it could also be clearly stated that the outdoor lighting that was on the garage would be on a motion sensor, and that it would be the low, I'm not sure the right terminology, maybe Jim could help me out on this, but it's the low wattage bulb that's, more friendly to birds and insects. That's the low, I don't know, the spectrum that's not bright white.
No, soft white.
Soft white, okay. Can that be on there?
Sure.
Since
We
that
can add that as a
would
specific
impact the
condition.
neighbor.
You
Yeah.
could specify the temperature, the color temperature at like 3000 K or below, something like
Yeah, I
that.
think that's what we've typically done in the past.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so we
Okay.
want
So with that addition to the resolution as well, I take it the applicant has no objection to that?
Any objection?
I'm sorry, David, you repeat that?
Sorry, it's cut it out because the signal is a little bit low. And no, everything is fine.
Very good. Okay. Good. So with that amendment by Donna, is there any other comments on the resolution? Okay. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks.
I'll second it this time.
Okay. Gareth, do you accept the resolution?
Yay.
Yay. Jim?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
And I too, yes. So the resolution passes. What is the next step on this, Christy? Valerie?
We'll just have to make those changes to the resolution, and then it can be recirculated. Valerie?
yes. And I should have that be able to recirculate tomorrow morning.
Great. Okay. Is that it for the applicant then?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Have a good night too. Bye.
Take care.
The next item on the agenda is 39 Old Albany Post Road, the new duplex, architectural review, continuing the public hearing. Applicant here?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. All right, I think we drew up, Valerie drew up the resolution. I handed in, I had the architect put one complete set of plans with all the changes, et cetera, that we spoke about and made, and everyone should have received a copy of it. And I believe everything's in order.
Okay, does the staff have any comments at this time? Dan?
No, I'm all set with this application.
Valerie?
No, I do not.
Christie?
Nope.
Okay, does the board have any comments on this time? Jim?
Ready to move forward.
Garrett?
I'm okay with it.
Donna?
I did have a question. On the plan that I looked at the last set, it still had the Rose of Sharon on there, and then it said there was possible, like there was a list of plants that were possibly substitutions for that.
Yeah,
How does that stand?
we had changed that Rose of Sharon.
Yeah, I thought that was on the plan. Unless
Yes.
I'm looking, I might be looking at the wrong thing.
It may be the old plan, because we definitely took them off and changed, off the top of my head, I forgot what we put, but we definitely took the Rose of Sharon off.
Okay, so if someone else can confirm that on there, that's the set of plans that are, that we're all looking at. And I also think that some kind of similar language could be used for this one if the plants, hopefully they survive a long time. They're, you know, many, many decades, but should they not, since they are not, none of them around the house are any of the plants that are on that list of suggestions that come from the town. Maybe there could be some language in that also that they could be switched out to something.
Okay, so Valerie,
Consider-
from now on, we'll put that in as a boilerplate.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
absolutely.
Great, great, great. And then also, you know, would be the same thing with the motion sensor garage lights and the 3000 K or below soft white light.
Okay, does the applicant have any problems with those amendments?
No, that's fine, but something that Donna should be happy with. I actually spoke to a friend of mine who, I know we agreed on these gardens and I had the architect draw them up, but he's redesigning something with all natural plants and things like that. So when I get that plan, I will, before I plant that garden, which is a way down the road, I can forward you that. And as well as Daria, who's one of my neighbors there. I had a little conversation with her the other day. She's into that too. So, you know, that will make everybody happy. We can change some plans.
That's great.
So is
Okay,
that- I'm sorry, just to clarify, so is that something that needs to be changed and memorialized in the resolution? Or?
Why don't we, I think we did spend a lot of time on these plants, so maybe, I don't know if the board's interested, maybe we keep with what we have right now, and then Bruce, down the line, if you're looking to do something different, maybe you can submit something to the town, and then we can
Right.
bring it back to the board.
In all fairness, I think that's reasonable. I will definitely, I think I've come through with every challenge offered me here, and I've been around a long time. I think if I say I'm going to do it, I will do it. And at this point, we're into July, and I would really like to get the building started before the snow flies.
well, we hope this will be done by that time, yes. Okay, so hopefully we can have a provision the same, similar to the other one in terms of the plants. Make
Yes.
that as a boilerplate as well going forward.
Absolutely.
And that way there'll be enough flexibility. I mean, you can always ask Donna's opinion about it, but it might not be needed to reappear on the board otherwise. That okay with you, Chrissy and Valerie?
I
To
mean, is
avoid
that
having to
people-
go up here before the board again, unless it's absolutely necessary.
I
as long
think,
as- sorry.
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think as long as it's consistent with what was in the plans, and it's not changing kind of what was approved, but if it's within the same realm, I mean, I would see what Valerie and even Donna, you know, I'm not a landscape expert, but I just, you know, we don't want to have changes to what was the concept of what was approved.
Right, so I think we can keep the language in if something doesn't survive. I think we have the detail, like even around, we have details even around the border of the house, if you recall, around the foundation. So I would suggest right now we just keep what we have, and then if Bruce is interested in changing something, then he can come back to the board with some suggested changes.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
And
any other
that
comments?
can be something simple, as you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full blown, you know,
They're
it's
only
not another
plants in front of
application.
the house. It's not like a major structural change, so.
Right, exactly. It would be a minor.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Nope, everybody's good. Sandy, are there any members of the public interested in this matter?
I don't believe anyone is here for this hearing.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we need a resolution to close this public hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Who's seconding?
I'll second.
Thank you. Jim, how do you vote? To close?
Close the hearing.
Okay, Gareth, I assume you close?
Yep.
Donna?
Yes, in agreement.
Okay, I agree to close it as well. Can I have a can I have a motion to for the resolution as amended as we've discussed?
I'll make that.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jim.
I'll second.
Who's seconding?
Donna?
Donna's seconding.
Okay. Gareth, how do you vote?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Jim?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
I'm good with it as well. Okay. So the staff will revamp the resolution a bit and we'll be done with this. Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a
thank
good
you,
night.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is Sunrise Solar Solutions, Club Fit Briarcliff, 584 North State Road, site plan amendment, continuing the public hearing. I believe the applicant didn't think it was necessary. Oh, applicant is here. Okay. Hi. Is there anything the applicant wish to add at this time?
Hi, Chairman Dawn McKenzie from Inside Engineering representing Sunrise Solar and Club Fit. And we also have Doug Hertz from Sunrise Solar, and we have Bill Beck, owner of Club Fit. So, well, when we were at the last meeting, we were looking for the tree warden to go back to the site and get back to us on his recommendation so we could finish, you know, finalize the calculations for tree replacement. And so that's why we're back here tonight, as well as, you know, to hopefully wrap up the public hearing. And we haven't
Okay,
about that, so.
So Valerie, what's our status with this at this time?
So yeah, so we did speak to the tree warden last about a week or so ago. He has gone out to the site. He's in the process of writing up his report for the board. What we specifically added into the resolution for tonight's for the board's consideration that instead of specifically referring to a tree warden report, but that the applicant would adhere to the Town of Austining tree warden's determination, and that the applicant is, you know, required to either put the replacement of the trees in kind or as per 183 12G of the code, or pay into a tree fund. So it allows the applicant some flexibility pending upon the tree warden's report as to how they want to finalize the tree details on the plan, on the plans.
And that was a condition to the issuance of the final CFO.
Right.
Does Dan, do you have any additional comments?
The only comment I have, and I don't know if there's a way to implement it, we talked about it last time about having a little flexibility if there's an opportunity to regrade the area between the sites. I would say that in the standard conditions of the resolution, we have field changes coming back to the planning board. And I don't know if there's a way either to reflect it in the minutes or just provide me with a little latitude here if we can come out with a better way to address that area and reduce the size of the retaining wall. But I don't want it to get in the way of the advancing this application.
Sure. So maybe we can put that as a specific condition to allow for the applicant to amend the grading based upon the goal of reducing the retaining wall, and that they could work with you directly.
Yeah, just, if we could broaden, or, the field change provision seems like it shuts down the ability to do that. So I'm not really looking to change anything else. The landscaping would remain the same, and just the grades would be adjusted if possible.
Right. So maybe we can put in an exception to the field change.
Okay, that'd be
Would that work?
Yeah, and as we stated in the last meeting, where we like that flexibility, and if we can achieve that, I think it's a goal that everyone would be happy with.
Okay, and is the applicant also okay with the proposed possible language on the trees?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Okay. Any other comments from the staff?
Valerie, so that provision regarding the exception to the field changes, it's going to be specific to the grading and to the satisfaction of the town's consulting engineer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Any comments from the board at this time? Gareth?
No comments.
Jim?
I'm ready to move forward.
Donna?
My only comment is I'm definitely ready to move forward, and I just would like, is there a way that we could know how this comes out with the, I guess, can we get the letter from the tree warden to see? Because my concern has always been that you're removing large trees, understandably, because they're right by the solar installation, but the loss of those trees is not being compensated with small understory trees that, really they get like maybe 15 feet. So you're losing a lot of the service of those large trees. So that's always been my concern with this. But I don't want to, stop the forward motion on this. But I do feel I'm a little nervous about not knowing if there's going to be any replacement of all those trees.
Well, we are allowing for the trees not to go in because that's one of the options. So, because they could just pay into the fund itself.
Right.
So as is, what we're discussing is giving them that opportunity to move forward with that option. So
Right.
It's such a tight spot that it's not like we have.
Oh, I totally understand that the trees that are going in there are really good choices for that area, but I'm just saying it's not compensating for what we're losing, like, planting elsewhere, which I understand they don't want to do, and that's totally fine. But I do hope there's some payment into the tree fund, so there would be compensation. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, they would have to adhere to the conditions of the resolution and also the fact of the town's laws anyway. So I think we're covered on that. Is that correct, Donna? I'm sorry, Christy and Valerie?
That's correct. And that's the way the resolution is written, that they have to adhere to the requirements of the law.
Okay, Donna?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Are there, Sandy?
I did have one more comment. Sorry. Just, I guess this is for Valerie. My question is, again, it's with the site plan. So these excellent choice of trees for that area are on the site plan, and then the language, states that it's like 1 or 2 years. If they don't survive the 1 or 2 years, then they have to be replaced. But wouldn't they? They're part of a site plan, so wouldn't that be like a continual requirement that those trees be in that area? Like until the site plan, if at such time a site plan gets changed or amended?
Well, yes, it would be. I think this is just, I mean, we can remove it. I mean, but it's just an added, to make sure that if something does get, dies within the first couple years, it automatically gets replaced. I mean,
Okay. But if it dies in 5 years, it's still going to get replaced. Or the building inspector would.
well,
have the
yeah, I mean,
option.
technically the
Yeah.
building inspector would have to go out and notice, right,
Right.
identify right trees.
But he
Yeah.
had the option. Right.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So are we
Great.
we're changing the boilerplate language, right? That for the landscaping provision that we've discussed on the previous two applications?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll have that as a boilerplate going forward for all resolutions.
That's
Okay.
great. Great. I'm good then.
Great. Okay, Sandy, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter?
You're not. There's no one here.
Sorry? No one here?
Not for this hearing.
Oh, okay. Hi. Okay, so what do we need to do at this point? Christie, Valerie?
You can, I mean, same process as the other applications, motion to close the public hearing. And then if the board is inclined, you can vote to adopt the resolution with the discussed amendments, specifically the field changes discussed by Dan and the changes to the landscaping language.
Great. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll
Make that motion. Or I'll
Thanks,
second.
Jim. Gareth is seconding. Donna, how do you vote? Close it?
Close it. Close it.
Okay. Jim?
Yes.
Gareth?
Yes.
Okay, I vote to close it as well. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as stated?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Jim. Who's seconding?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Donna. Gareth, how do you vote?
Yes. Accept it.
Jim?
Yes.
Donna?
Accepted.
Great, I accept it as well. Thank you very much for the applicants. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your input and we look forward to a successful project.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is 53 Ganong Drive, addition to the single-family residence and architectural review. It's not a public hearing. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm the architect, Lou DeMacy.
Good evening.
Good evening. So I'll start off with some pictures. I'm going to try to share this. Just let me know if it comes through. Pictures, share. This is the residence. It's a split-level house, split from front to back. So the back of the house has 2 levels, and the front of the house has just 1 level. What you're looking at there is the garage area that we're going to be taking down to create this 2-story addition. The house was recently sided with hardy plank siding, so as part of this application, we're going to be matching it. It's a very nice looking siding. The trim is all AZAC. It's really nice looking, and I'm trying to complement the addition to match what's there. This is just another look of the front entranceway with the stonework and also the hardy plank siding again. This is the rear of the building where I'm saying it's 2 stories because of the split. So now I'll share with you the plans. Can you all see that?
Not yet.
No.
Is the plan up? Can you see
No.
that?
No, we just see the photos.
All right, let me try this. Sure. How's that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So here's the site plan here. The addition is going to be in this area. We're going to be knocking down the garage, and creating this addition here. You can see from the front elevation, we're keeping the garage, we're just expanding it. Back when these houses were built all in this area, the garages were really small. So we're widening it up by about 3 feet to make it more usable, a usable garage space. And then up above, we're adding a master bedroom suite. And I could go through the plans to show you where that's located. But what I decided to do here, because this is such a lovely, like kind of ranch style house, I didn't make this a full 8-foot high wall. It's a 7-foot high wall to keep in character with the low nature of the house. So I thought that was really important to not create like a very tall and linear structure there. So, or a rocket-like structure, not really linear. Again, this is the site plan. We're meeting all the setbacks, so we don't need a variance. The house is currently under construction. They're putting a pool in the back. And so we were able to get the site plan to show exactly where this addition is going to go. Scrolling to the plan, again, the garage area is here. We're expanding this. You can see from this line here, this is where the old garage was. What we're doing is pushing it forward in order to make room for like a guest suite with another bathroom and a playroom. That's going to also help for the, the pool. People can come in here and use this bathroom and a nice little playroom area and have a guest bedroom on the lower level. So it's off the living room level. And then when you go up to the second floor, which is back here, you go up these stairs here, and these are the back bedrooms. What we're doing is creating a hallway. This is going to go up a half a flight, and it's going to end up being this second story here for a master suite. And what we're looking to do is a bedroom in the front, an office space. I think it's kind of important to have like office space for, even today's world, there's everybody's home now. So they like to have a little office space, a master bedroom, bathroom, and then also a nice generous walk-in closet. And that's the gist of the plan. Again, here's a view of the rear. Again, trying not to make this all 2 stories. So I played around with some shapes about making 1 story here and then a little further back, making the 2 stories. And this back here is where the bathroom is going to be. And these 2 windows are going to be from the bathroom to look back into the backyard. And then this is a side profile, basically showing what we're building here. So the garage area is right about here. We're extending forward, we're extending back, and also creating a second floor. That's my little spiel for this project. If there's any questions that I can answer at this time, I'd be happy to.
Okay, Dan, do you have any comments? I noticed you had a memo on this matter.
Yeah, I just had 2 minor comments. One is just for the building inspector to make sure he has an up-to-date survey. It looks like sheet 1 of the set has some survey information, but eventually we'll need a signed and sealed survey to ensure that. And we'll also need an erosion control plan.
Erosion control?
Otherwise, I really don't have any issues with the application.
Okay.
Okay, Valerie, do you have any comments at this time?
No, I do not. I think the applicant worked with trying to match the existing house. And so I made note of that in the memo. Other than that, they meet the minimum zoning requirements. So I do not have much to add on this particular application.
Okay, Christy, do you have any comments at this time?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Members of the board, do you have any comments or questions at this time? Donna?
I have a few. It looks great from the front. I actually went by the house, and the siding is nice looking, and but I did have a couple questions. When I look at the plans, it's kind of confusing to me why the door to if it's the playroom is and the bathroom is for accessing the pool, why there's not a door in the back and why it's on the side, because it really looks like it's almost a separate apartment because of
that's a great question. So this idea is to become an in-law suite. We just don't want to apply for that at this time. I'd like to get the building permit, and then we're going to apply for an in-law apartment. This is going to be for the mother-in-law.
Okay, so from an architectural review board perspective, I guess I would like to see what is impacted, because the houses are kind of close to each other right here. So if that's going to be a main entrance, that side entrance is going to be a main entrance. I'm just wondering, how's it impacting the neighbor? Because I don't think it's in keeping with the neighborhood to have a main entrance on the side that would be right next to someone's living room or.
Donna, I would look at it this way. It's not the main entrance. It's a side entrance to a house. Many houses have side entrances. I'm not attracting this with, a portico and a porch. It's a stoop that leads up to a side door. I'm not considering this to be a front entranceway.
But when you make that a mother-in-law's suite, as you said, that will be their main entrance.
Just, yeah, for one person, not the whole family.
Right, so it's still a main entrance. So my other comment is that there's no light fixtures on the doors on the sides. And I'm pretty from my experience, it's going to go to the building department. He's going to want lights on there. So I am concerned about what that's going to look like.
Yeah, we're required to have lights by all doors. And,
Okay, so you don't indicate that on the plans.
No, I did not. So I will do it for the next go around.
Okay. Yeah, because I would like to see what that, and I also want to know how that's going to, because it's not typical of the neighborhood. So I want to know, it'd be nice for the next go around if we could see the relationship of that side to the neighbor, to see how that would be in.
So what you're asking me to ask the owners to provide a survey to show where the neighbor's property and also the
Yeah,
house
well, maybe
is?
just a picture, like a photograph or something.
Okay. No, I want to be clear. I don't want to go back and forth with this.
I mean, for me, I don't know what the other members are going to say, but I think it would be, I would like to see like where that door is in relation to the house that's right. It's pretty close to each other. So how that light and the door and all that's going to impact.
A couple of photographs should do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like you did for the house. I think that would be fine for me.
And then what I'll do is try to stake out where I think that door is going to be so you can see it in relationship to the photo.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. And then I just had a question about on the side, the way the windows are lined up. They're kind of off. Yeah, can you go to the pictures? Yeah, so go down that one on the left side elevation. Like, why are those windows? Is there like a structural reason that those windows are not like
Aligned?
aligned up? Yeah.
Let me, bedroom. No, what I did was in the bedroom here, I centered it in the bedroom.
Right.
And then upstairs, it got centered on the tub. So if you think that relationship is important, I will move the windows in the bedroom because I'm not going to move the tub.
Right.
And that should align them.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm going to ask the applicant if that's okay, but is that really something that the board feels that we should do?
I think it would look a lot better, but
I
that's
totally
just
agree with you.
my opinion. Yeah. So the lights and the and that window moving.
Align bedroom window. Okay.
And yeah, so that's what I would be interested in. And if that those lights on the doors would be on motion sensors, just like with the other applicants, and low wattage and everything, so it'd be less impactful to.
So I'll indicate them on the plans, and then I'll make sure that they're motion sensor and low wattage.
Right. Thanks. I think that's it for me.
Thanks, Donna. Gareth, do you have any questions or comments at this time?
I have no problem with the plan. It looks nice to me, but I would like to see either a sketch or a photograph, like perhaps from Google Earth, showing the relationship of the house to the neighboring properties. And I just pulled up. I have not yet gone by there by car, so I just pulled it up on Google Earth. And I see that the driveway is directly across from the church entrance. And that doesn't really affect anything, but I would have liked to have seen on the plan, something like that. So if you could add that, I would like, I think that should be required as a matter of course to show either a drawing or a photograph showing, all the adjacent properties. So if you could prepare a sheet with that photo or drawing, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'm fine with what you show.
So I could easily use the Google Earth and show a block where the addition would go, and hopefully that would be clear to everybody, if that's okay.
That would be fine.
And I think a picture,
Right, as long as it shows all the neighboring houses.
yeah, I'll try to
Right,
do my
yeah.
best. I mean, obviously, the further up I go, the harder it's going to see
Yeah.
things, but I'll
Yep.
figure out a scale that works. And then I think a street view from standing at the street, looking at this addition, getting the neighbor's property and the house in proximity, I think that'll clear up everything.
Sounds good.
I mean, we're here as an architecture review board. I mean, we're not here for like site plan approval. The house and the addition complies with all the zoning requirements, from what I understand.
But it's supposed to be keeping in with the neighborhood, and
Oh,
the neighborhood
absolutely.
doesn't have
But
side
looking at the
entrances.
elevations, we're saying that it isn't?
It does, I don't see any side entrances into any of those houses there. So,
I tend to agree. I've seen more than a few homes that have a side entrance.
I mean, it's like, if it turns into an apartment, it becomes a main entrance.
Well, he's gonna have to go through another approval process in order to change it into an apartment. Everything that he's proposing complies.
Jim, are you saying it's unreasonable to ask for a neighborhood view?
Frankly, if you want to see pictures of the other homes, but I don't think we should be asking for additional site plan information.
I mean, that's not really site plan information. That's general, neighborhood layout. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very easy to supply. In this case, the client has said no problem.
If he wants to provide it, that's fine. But what could be possibly going on the other properties if this is completely conforming that we need to even concern ourselves with the neighbors? Actually,
Well, the lights on the side will definitely, if I was the neighbor.
we have zoning laws that are specific about the lighting, that we're not supposed to be shining onto the neighbor's property, and I mean, there's language in the local code. I mean, this is just a simple addition. I just don't want it to turn into something more than it should. That's all.
Well, I think as part of an architectural review board, I think we should see where the lights are going to be located and what kind of lights they are.
Yeah, and like I told
I'm
you,
not
they're going to
disagreeing
be,
on
they're going to be at the doors. They're not going to be shining at the neighbors. They're going to be at the doors.
Right. So,
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we're the owners of the house, so if we could answer any questions about the neighborhood as well, we're happy to provide more information.
And I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but the neighbor doesn't have any windows facing our house either, so I don't know if if there was a light
oh,
there.
so that would be really good information. See, there you go.
Yeah, they have no windows on the side of the house that face our house.
Okay, there you go. That's
Although I would say that even if they did have windows, that wouldn't have a problem with the light on the side of the house next to a side entrance. I'm sorry, I'm just being difficult, I guess.
I think in this particular instance, having the overhead picture view of where the neighbors' houses would be a relatively simple thing to ask from the applicant. And I thought at one point we had it set up so that would be a standard portion of any application anyway. So I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get something like that here. But I agree that it looks fine to me as it is right now with the addition, no information concerning the lighting. That would probably be sufficient regardless. Any other comments from the board? Jim?
Nope.
Gara? Donna?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so I take it that the applicant has to go back and do another run through, taking into account the comments from the board and the staff? Christy?
Could I actually make one comment based upon the discussion by the board? Just for the applicants, I just want to make sure you're aware. The zoning code does have a provision that deals exclusively with accessory apartments, and it requires a special permit from the zoning board, and it's pretty extensive. The town board adopted it after ample consideration in 2018. So I don't know if you've looked at that yet, but if you haven't, given your intended use of this space, you may want to take a look and make sure that what you're doing complies with that, so that you don't go down a path just to find out you can't use it for what you want to use it for.
And I appreciate that. And that's why we're doing it this way as a playroom and not, and it was asked of me why the entrance is on the side because of that reason. But if we can't, then it's going to be used as a playroom and also a cabana bathroom for the pool.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it.
No, I appreciate that. Now, I don't know, I'm sharing the screen. Hopefully you could see the house here.
Yes, yes.
So this is where the addition's going to go. And this is the neighbor's property. There's a chimney and no windows there. So
Okay.
If you could see that, then I think we could resolve a lot of the issues. And also, I'll make sure on the plans to the building department that I have the lighting that you require.
Well, it'd be good to see, just to see what you intend, because it's an architectural review board, so I just, for us to see what the exterior of the house looks like, I think it would be good to see what the fixtures look like.
A cut sheet for the fixtures, you're saying?
Yeah, what the fixtures would be, yeah.
Okay.
This particular application is going to require a public hearing, so I don't know if the board feels that the application is to the point that we can call for a public hearing on this matter.
Does it look like I'm asking the applicant, does it look like it would take you much to go and fulfill all the questions and comments that you've heard so far?
Comments were lighting and
Aligning the window.
and aligning the windows. I think we satisfied the look, I'm hoping, and then I'll get you a cut sheet for the lighting, for sure. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, Sandy, when's the next public hearing we can schedule it for?
We could probably schedule it for August 5th.
Sandy, when's the deadline to bring the plans in?
You would have to bring stuff in on Monday, the 20th,
July 20th. Okay.
or actually the 27th would work too.
27th. Okay.
Is that enough time for the staff to review?
Yes. At least from my, yeah.
Yes.
Does Dan require the plans to have the erosion control at that time?
Yes, if you want us to go and go forward with a public hearing, you probably won't have all the information available.
Okay. I have to work on that then. Let's, I think we could accomplish that. That's not a problem.
Okay, what does the board think? Do we want to tentatively have it for a public hearing or just wait until they're more complete? Donna, what do you think?
Well, if you can have all the information by the time of the public hearing, I think there's no sense in delaying it, in my opinion.
Jim?
I agree with Donna.
Okay, Garrett?
I agree as well.
Good, okay. Valerie, Christy, you think that could be done?
Yeah, as long as the applicant has the information in, the revised plans in enough time for it to be noticed, and Sandy seems to think that works. As long as it's in by the 27th, then I don't see any reason why not.
Okay, so applicant, you think you can hand it in by the 27th, correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Okay, so why don't we set it up for a public hearing then? Sandy?
Okay. I think you
Do
guys
we
have
need to make a resolution to that effect?
motion, yes.
Motion.
Call for a public hearing.
Okay, anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Thanks, Jim. Who's seconding?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Donna. Gareth, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Jim?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Okay, I agree as well. So we'll see the applicant back on that date.
Okay. Thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, are there any other matters on the agenda?
There are two matters. One is dealing with the Indian Brook treatment plant, the request for extension of the approved resolution of site plan approval, and then also for you to sign that letter. So I believe the board granted the extension last planning board meeting, but this would be, we just need you to sign the letter, and we sent over the final version, I believe today. Sandy, was that correct?
Yes.
So we're good with it. If you're good with it, then we'll send it to your way for your signature. And this is just the
Okay,
response
I read
back
through
to
it,
the
it's fine.
DEC. Okay.
What's the second item?
And the second item deals with, if you recall, the board has had a few concerns recently dealing with landscaping plans that have been submitted as part of ARB review. And we spoke about a month ago or so about trying to identify maybe some criteria for when landscaping plans to help guide applicants for when landscaping plans should be submitted, as well as what are the, I guess, best practices or standards that we'd like applicants to submit their landscaping plans based on. And so I provided the board some initial thoughts on the some initial thoughts on maybe what types of plans would require landscaping plans, and that would include, applications for all new buildings or structures, new site plans, or any site plan amendments where existing plantings will be removed or proposed. And I proposed to the board for consideration that we would have the plant species would require no landscaping plan, should include any plant species. And I provided 2 different websites that have species specific information dealing with invasive species. And then that all landscaping plans should consider the inclusion of plantings listed in the Native Plant Resources Guide, which is the one on the town of Austining, the Environmental Advisory Council uses. And then plant locations. One of the things that I've noticed in some of the recent applications that you specifically are looking for plants alongside rear front property boundaries to create visual screening and or curbside appearance, and then along the front facade of a building to enhance curbside appearance, and then any vegetative islands within parking lots, driveways, or buffer strips that plantings would be proposed. So that's really just the beginnings of, just a draft, and I'm looking for any feedback from the board. I think the thought is that we could probably provide this to an applicant when they're coming in for ARB application. Also, we could post it onto the website so they at least have some guidance. And so maybe that would prevent some of the back and forth and number of revisions that we've seen needed on some of these recent applications.
Okay, so I take it the EAC has not been yet consulted with this, or they have already been presented with a draft of this?
Well, I didn't present them at all with it. I think it's more of, it's the ARB's, if you would like me to send it to the EAC for their comments, we can, but it really is presented originally to the ARB.
I understand. Okay, so what does the board think? Jim, what do you think?
The only thing that I probably would change is on number 2, where it says planting should be provided. I would probably change provided to consider. And the point I'm trying to make is that on a project like Bruce Fiorito, who just presented before us, a couple of those planting beds in the right in front of the house, considered, not required, not necessarily a requirement to provide. I think they should have a little bit of flexibility to, choose some plants, even if we don't necessarily, agree. But we should be a little bit stricter on the trees and the plants in general on the perimeter of the property where it's required for screening and for longevity. So if they have something that's a planting bed that's a little bit more on the decorative side, as he did, I'd like to be able to provide the applicant with a little flexibility there.
So other than that change, that one word change, you're okay with the language otherwise?
Yes.
Jim,
Okay.
exactly what part were you looking at?
No, item number 2, where it says
Number 2.
planting should be provided,
Oh, you're saying considered.
considered, or at least we just, we're giving ourselves and the applicant some flexibility, that's all.
Right. Right. So in some cases, they're going to be required
Yes.
because of screening and stuff. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I agree with that.
Gareth, do you have any comments?
No comments.
Donna?
So Valerie, I think this is great. It's a real step forward for sure. My comment would be that with the under number 1A, those are things, particularly with Prism, that are updated, you know, because they're like web-based. Well, the New York State Department, DEC, that would take a long time for them to revise, but it would be revised. The number B is a printed document, so it's there is possibility that it could become outdated because of, like with that viburnum arrowwood, that there's like some insect in the area that the plant is not going to survive. I don't know how to address that this is a guide, but you know, it is something that can become outdated. So
That's why we have you here.
you might not always have me here, though.
Well, we're gonna have to make sure that doesn't change.
Well, I mean, we could update, you know, if there's a new resource that you'd like. I tried to see, you know, if there's a
Worked with
good.
them on this. They actually just updated it because I contacted them. They had a few things in there that shouldn't have been now, like, you know, hemlocks, ash, you know, like none of these things should be planted anymore, but you probably can't buy them anyway. So, so that's, I don't even know if it's necessary, because you're saying should consider, which I think is actually, like Jim was saying about the other, I think considering it and not requiring it is, I think, a good solution, just because we can't predict what the future holds. And these are things, the plants are so impacted in ways that we can't predict. So I think that's good language. That's my only comment is that the unpredictability, you know, just outpaces a printed document. So
Right, and I started looking at different websites that have native plantings, but none of them were as detailed and as thorough as this particular document,
this is
where
great. Yeah.
where a number of them will highlight like the top 20, and then that's
Right.
it. And so
It's
I
not
felt
enough, yeah.
right.
Yeah. Like the Westchester County one that Sandy was giving out just didn't have enough selection for people, I think. And this one, just for everyone's information, this is the town of Mount Pleasant, their conservation group put this together, and they did like a bang up job. They used a lot of resources to pull it together. It's you know, it has deer resistant, shade tolerant, wet, dry, you know, like it's really a great list. So yeah, so I'm good with it. It's just, that's my only comment is that you know, I have people say to me, you know, we use that Westchester County list, and you know, now you're saying not to plant this. It just, as soon as something's printed, there's like a new, you know, there's a new pest. You know, it's like, it's hard to keep up with, you know.
Well, if there's particular other websites, I can have a couple different choices if you have any suggestions.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, it's, you know, it's.
It might be avoided by just inputting that those considerations in, right? I mean, for instance, new pest. If you just put a statement in there saying the new pest may indicate a different planting should be used, that might at least make the applicant aware of what issues we're looking at.
Right. So maybe it could be said somewhere. Oh, yeah. Well,
I think it's a good point to have some qualifying language anyway, because
right.
you still want to maintain the discretion of the board based upon particular circumstances, and you don't want people coming in saying, well, I followed this, so I'm done, or having that mindset. So I think just some sort of qualifying language that, you know, these are recommendations subject to change, and the landscaping plan will be reviewed by the planning board upon, or the ARB upon submission. Just something.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Subject to change.
Yeah, I think that would be a very good addition, Christy.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the board?
I just have a question for Valerie. If you you had thrown out there that the town might consider getting a consultant for like some bigger jobs, is that something that's being considered?
Right. So what we can do, and I thought maybe this might be a simple first step, right? So we have these recommendations that we'll start attaching, and then once we have another application where it looks like it's going to have like you know, it's going to require a landscaping plan. I do have somebody that I work with who is a landscape architect who could, you know, look at, you know, these plans And then we can decide, we can go from there. If you feel that we need to even go broader than that and hire like a landscaping firm or something like that, especially if it's like a really large plan, we can do something like that. But I thought it might just be easier in the way of reviewing applications, if I can have this person just take a look at it to make sure, one, that they're sort of adhering to the overall guidelines, and then two, if there are specific concerns that get raised at the meetings, that maybe they can suggest some substitutions or some planting species. Like, for example, when we were talking about soil conditions at another one of the meetings.
Right.
So I thought maybe we'd start with that. I mean, unless for some reason the board really wants to go out and look for potential other architectural landscaping firms.
I think this is a good start.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the budget would be at this point.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to also be cognizant of, like, yes, the applicants' budgets and stuff like that. So I thought maybe we could start with that. And if we find that that's not as, as robust as your would like, then we can seek other alternatives. But I thought maybe with this and then having somebody who reviews some of the planting plans, especially when we have applications that do require landscaping plans, that that might help move things in the general right direction for this board.
Well, that sounds good to me, because I always like to use the case of the water treatment plant. They came in with all of that, like they had a really great plan. So then they wouldn't be burdened with any additional oversight if they've come in and they've checked all the boxes, But someone struggling, it would be good to have, if they got this, I think what you put together, I think that could probably help a lot. And then if it's a problem, having somebody look it over, I think would be enough. I can't see, I think it would be a burden to have a landscaping firm, but.
Right. I mean, that was sort of my thought, because even in this particular, in a couple of these last applications, just having maybe somebody suggest a quick, exchange, species change, or dealing with a couple suggestions that might, at least be helpful to the applicant.
Right. Yeah. I think it's good. Because the town is trying to do like a tree plan, and the town's doing all this effort. So it'd be good if the planning board has some reflection of that effort, That's it.
Okay, so it looks like the board is pretty much likes the way this is written, Valerie. So with the disclaimers that Christy suggested and the wording changes that Jim and Donna agreed on, I think we'll be okay with this. Since Donna, do you think the EAC should be brought in on this?
I can show it to them. I don't think you need to do that. I think that they would agree with this. This is it's on their website, and they're, I think this is, as their liaison, I'm being bold to speak for them, but I will definitely pass it along to them.
Why don't I revise it first,
Okay.
and then you can send it along to them.
Yeah, I can't see that they would object to any of this.
Great. Okay. Any other items that we have to deal with? Any other items, new items on the agenda? Valerie, Christy, Dan?
I think there's a member of the EAC here with us tonight. I'm sorry, I think you were here last time with the Sunrise Solar.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Did you want to comment, or?
It's correct. We can look at it, but we don't have to vote.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No, it's
Hi, can you hear me now?
still pretty.
You're still kind of faint.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's my computer. It's all the way up. But
No, now you're
There you
fine.
go.
There you go.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't have any comments. Everything was fine. So Donna, spoke on our behalf, so I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Great. Always happy to see you folks there.
Thank you.
Okay, so any other items that we have to deal with? No?
No.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Actually, I have one more thing. Is it a requirement, it should be, is it a requirement that the applicants have to provide photographs of the neighboring properties?
So in this particular, yeah, so to answer your question, yes, technically you're supposed to, it's not necessarily photographs, but it says in the code that you should look at the plans based upon the neighboring properties. In this particular thing, I didn't highlight it as something that was necessary because it was the addition that they're looking for was within, more or less within the footprint of the house to a larger extent. So I didn't necessarily request that to be submitted, but in prior applications, they have submitted photos on either side.
And I usually try to make it out to the site just to confirm what the neighborhood is like. And I've had this conversation with Gareth before, but I just wanted to say, apologize if I got a little bitchy before, but my gripe sometimes is that on these really small projects, to have the applicant, create resubmissions and then go before consultants and then pay their architect additional fees for an addition that's completely conforming to all the zoning requirements. That's where I'm trying to kind of keep the reins in a bit and not have a tiny little project become a hardship for the applicant. So
Right.
that's the only reason I was saying, on an addition where they're, for a garage addition, and yes, they're expanding it, but a garage addition where there was a garage and it's not over the setbacks, I'm trying just to keep things in check, that's all.
My position is that it's part of our responsibility to see how any plan before us fits into the neighboring properties. And we can only do that by either going there, which I generally do, but I was not able to in this case, or by showing a bird's eye view. And that's so easy to do now by snapping a picture of Google Earth, that I think it's absurd to object to it. I think it should be a matter of course. I think it is a matter of course. As Ching pointed out, we dealt with this about a year ago and decided that it should be part of the regular requirement. Just show how the property fits into the neighborhood.
Right.
Otherwise, we're making.
It's an existing house that already fits into the neighborhood.
Yeah, but they're adding an apartment.
And when they add the apartment, they're actually going to go through another approval process. So they might
The door
not.
and the light will already be there. So that's what I just.
I understand that, but what they're proposing right now is not an apartment, and what they're proposing is completely consistent with a single family residence. And the house is already there. The neighborhood is already there. And
How can you object to something that takes zero additional work? This isn't a detailed drawing I'm at.
See, now that bothers me. Zero additional work?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. It's easy to say zero additional work when it's not coming out of your wallet. That's
No,
what
you're snapping a picture off of Google Earth. This is zero additional work, Jim.
It would sort of streamline the effort in order to have the bird's eye view quickly. And of course, by the applicant providing it, the applicant can sort of frame the issues by presenting the best picture that they want to present. Even if we visited the site, we wouldn't have that bird's eye view unless we did it ourselves. So the question is, do we want each board member to go and pull out a bird's eye view when the applicant can choose the best one that they want for their own application and present it? And I absolutely agree with you, Jim. If they have to pay for a consultant and to draw something really fancy for us, I would think that's totally ridiculous. But to get a screenshot off of Google Earth, I'm not sure that.
Are you looking for a bird's eye view? Because I think, Luigi left today thinking he just needs to take photos of the neighboring property. So I think it would be, if we want bird's eye view, maybe that's what we make sure we put it on the application that's.
I think
I would agree. I would
that
agree.
it was a bird's eye view that we wanted. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I was asking for it. There was a little pushback, and I thought Cheng confirmed that this was something that we thought we had made a standard requirement of plans.
I think the last few
think-
plans that we received, some of them just were photos of the neighboring properties, like 39 Old Albany Post Road.
Which I think is completely reasonable when they're staying completely inside the building envelope on their own property and they're conforming with every setback. If they were proposing a new house, or they were encroaching on someone's property, I agree with you guys 100%.
But this isn't keeping with the building envelope. They're bringing the garage out. and
No, they're
bringing it
staying
back.
within the building envelope,
No, they're expanding the garage out. It's
within
coming,
the building envelope.
and they're making it further in the back. That's not.
No, we're misunderstanding each other. They
Okay.
are expanding the footprint of the building,
Okay.
but everything that they're proposing is within the requirements on the site,
I
within the
got you. I'm
building.
sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
If they were
I'm better with
proposing a
plans,
new
Jim.
house, if they were proposing a new house, I'd be going beyond what you're proposing and saying they need additional screening and they're changing the nature of the existing environment. I'd be with you on this one. But when it's an existing house and they're just putting a garage addition where they have a garage addition,
It's not a garage addition. They're putting an apartment. and
Yes.
Like a major enviable.
and they're
Master
nowhere near the height restriction, and they're not over the setback. That's the only point I'm trying to make, is that when a small project comes before us, I just don't want it to go too far. That's all.
I think the point is well taken, Jim, that we don't want to excessively burden the applicants on anything disproportionate to what it would help us make a decision on. And frankly, when he had that picture of that side view of the adjacent property and showed that there was no windows there, I was like, oh, okay, that was easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
So I
sometimes
went to the
having-
property and I didn't even notice that because I was just looking at the house. And because I got to tell you, because I'm not an architect, and when I first looked at the plans before I went to the house, I didn't even pick up that was an apartment until I saw that the door came through the living room, through a bedroom, into a playroom, and there's no door by that pool which you can see when you go by the house that they're putting a pool in. So it all just was like, all of a sudden, it just didn't make any sense to me. And I saw the laundry room and the kitchen and the big master bath and in that space. And all of a sudden it clicked that was going to be an apartment. But that was after I visited there. So I apologize. I did not even look at the house because I didn't think there would be an impact.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with any of the comments that you and Gareth have made. So this is like a little difficult on my part, but what I would agree with everything that you guys are saying had the circumstances been different. And even if that house next door had windows, I have no problem with the door on the side and having a light next to the door. It's not like we're putting spotlights that are shining into the other person's home. These are like normal situations that everyone's neighbors have. And we have zoning laws that restrict how the lights are supposed to leave the property.
Well, except when you buy a house in a single family neighborhood.
Yes.
And then your neighbor puts in an apartment, I bet the people next to them did not anticipate that. And I know it's an architectural review board, so I just want to know what the lights are going to look like and where that placement is in relation to the house. And now that we see that there's no windows on the side, all of that's mute. I still want to see what the lights look like.
No problem with that part of it. And I didn't argue over that part of it. But this addition that they're putting on, whether it's the existing situation or their intended future situation, it's still a residential situation. It fits in with the neighborhood, and they're not shining lights necessarily onto the neighbor's property, unless they're putting on floodlights and they're pointing them at the neighbors. I mean, everybody has a neighbor that has a floodlight for the most part.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I actually have quite a few floodlights from Artist Senior Living that are on all the time, because that's how I know that they have to have lights on doors. you know, because that changed
See,
after.
but you and I,
after they
that's a
got an
perfect
accepted
example. You and I
resolution.
have the pleasure of bordering commercial property.
Yes, but it wasn't commercial property that
It
assisted
always was
living was
commercial
allowed.
property.
That was commercial property, but assisted living wasn't a permitted usage.
You're right, but we both bought our properties knowing that we're bordering commercial property and
But
they could
not
put
with a
in a
hospital.
commercial use.
Not with a hospital with lights on all night. So that's why, that's why we're changing the subject. I just want to see what the lights look like as an architectural review.
And I didn't disagree with that comment at all.
Very good. Okay. I think we hear you, Jim. I think we'll have to keep it into our minds to make sure that we're not asking anything that's unfortunate from the applicant for whatever they're asking for.
I appreciate it.
Any other items? Any other questions?
Wait a minute.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Wait a minute.
Gareth?
Yeah, can we clarify what our position is about bird's eye views being put one way or another on plans for ARB proposals? I mean, it's a
I think we
Google
could.
Earth snapshot we're talking about. So that I don't see how anyone can argue that this is burdening the applicant. And I think we should have a clear position on it so this doesn't just keep coming up as an internal argument.
We might want to wait until Carolyn's also here for that full discussion if we really wanted to push that issue. I'd point out that.
Yeah, I think we should push the issue, yes.
Okay, that's fine. The only thing is, of course, right now we're discussing it on an individual basis, and if we wanted to have it specifically, we could. We'll have the board decide on that. My impression was that we had agreed that we would just have a simple Google Earth shot would have been fine. If they wanted a hand scroller with crayons that showed relative locations of the houses, that would have been fine. It certainly was not intended to have some consultant being paid over, whatever amount of money in order to generate another fee for the applicant.
Absolutely. And when we talked about it last time, we made that point very specifically, that we were not burdening the applicant with some, need for a fancy drawing requiring an architect to prepare it. We made that very clear. So, I continue to hold that position. So we're not asking for anything fancy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, might I suggest we can look at the application, right, for ARB, because I think it's just one full application, but maybe it might be best at this point, especially if we're dealing with ARB, to maybe add some, again, some criteria onto the application where it identifies, specific submission requirements. Because the code itself is a little bit vague as to, it just says to the neighboring properties or where, so maybe we can provide maybe some suggestions again to the board to review. And then at least then there's a comfort level as to the minimum that will be required for an application.
My impression was that it always was a suggestion for the applicant. And so the applicant, if they thought it would help their application go smoother through the process, they would just provide it.
Well, if we want to keep it as a suggestion, then that's fine. We can just leave it with the way everything is.
No, but you're right. If we had it on the application as a suggestion, clearly, then the applicant might realize that, oh yeah, there might be folks on the board who would be interested in seeing a bird's eye view. In which case, that would solve the problem and not have more questions arise during the process that would slow the application down. At the end of the day, if they could provide the information quickly, easily, cheaply, very important, cheaply, then, and it would get them out of our board faster, that's not necessarily a bad trade-off.
I end up going onto the Westchester GIS site every time an application comes in. Every time, if I'm going there anyway, just as a belt and suspenders, I'll create a PDF of what I see and circulate it with my memo. This way you could be getting at least the same, consistent presentation of the data source. And if they bring anything else, so be it. But I'm happy to provide the board with that material.
Right. I think And I think the only thing you won't see on that is the proposed addition, right? So you'll have to do the comparison of what's in the site plans versus what's, shown on the aerial.
I mean, but I could show you what the neighborhood looks like, and they
Right.
have like, you can do, I forget what they call it, but you can get the oblique view as opposed to like a straight up looking down on the property. So I will, I'll send them to you guys and you can decide whether it's useful or not. But I do it every application anyway.
Sounds good.
That sounds great then. I mean, if it's no trouble on your part, then we might be able to
Yeah,
take
do
that
it
load
anyway.
off the applicant.
No, I mean, you let them do it too, but I'm just saying, it sounds like even if they do it, it may not be exactly how we want it. So whatever I submit could, just be like a belt and suspenders. You got my thing and you got however the applicant wants to present it.
Jim, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm just here to cause trouble.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion, please.
I'll second.
Gareth, how do you vote?
Well, I want to keep this going.
Yeah. Where's that leave meeting button?
Gareth, I'll call you after the meeting.
Yeah, I'm good with adjourning.
Okay, Jim?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
everybody.
Bye.